Okay, so a short while ago, I made a video discussing the possibility of the M1903 Springfield Infantry variant firing its standard 30-06 rounds could be making its way into Battlefield 1. Chad Wilkinson, developer at Dice LA, he responded to a question during a Q&A asking whether this weapon would ever turn up in Battlefield 1's main game, and he responded saying that during the launch of Battlefield 1, the process of getting the weapon to switch between the Pedersen device, K-bullets, and standard 30-06 rounds just wasn't possible. They didn't have the technology to do it then. But now that all 4 DLCs had launched, and there was some more time to work on more difficult tasks, this might become a reality. Well, today is that day. The M1903 Infantry is alive and functioning in the most recent CTE patch on the PC, giving players the chance to finally use the standard issue rifle of the American Expeditionary Force in bolt action, using its standard round without any powered scope whatsoever. The weapon is still named the M1903 Experimental because it's been altered to allow all 3 different fire modes, but it will spawn you in with the Pedersen device active. If you hit the select fire button, it will then go through the animation of removing the device and enabling the standard bolt action fire mode using 30-06 Springfield rounds. The 2 different fire modes obviously use totally different calibers of round, and so DICE has implemented separate damage models for each of them. And I think this was another one of those technical hurdles that the team couldn't figure out before the launch of the game. And then, to top it all off, you can still select K-bullets as a gadget option, which means if you select K-bullets during a round, you get another animation for whichever other fire mode you are in, and it will swap 2 K-bullets and allow you to shoot up to 5 of those, just as you could with any other bolt-action rifle in the game. DICE has managed to solve all of the technical issues, and we finally have our M1903 Springfield Infantry model, still slightly disguised as an experimental model. The weapon features the same sweet spot as the Marksman and the Sniper variants when you're using standard bolt-action fire mode using the standard 30-06 rounds. It starts at 100 meters and extends to 150, so landing those 100 damage shots at that range to the upper torso with just iron sights will likely be a challenge, but the option is soon going to be there for all of us to use if we want to. However, that isn't the only weapon problem that DICE has managed to solve with this CTE update. Some of you might remember during the CTE testing of the Russian DLC that the General Liu rifle, which was one of the medic weapons added with that DLC, had an alternative fire mode, bolt action. During testing, this bolt action mode worked, but it didn't work correctly as the damage model of the rounds fired matched those of the semi-auto fire mode, and of course firing in semi-auto you'd expect the bullets to do less damage than a bolt action fired round, and DICE was unable at the time to figure out how to make it work correctly. The bolt action fire mode was removed and the weapon was released as a semi-auto only rifle for the medic class. Well, I bet you can guess what DICE has done here. They've made it work, and they've now implemented back in the bolt action fire mode for the General Liu, and we do have separate damage models for bullets fired in semi-auto and in bolt action. This now actually makes the weapon historically accurate. The General Liu rifle was designed to fire in both semi-auto and bolt action modes, and of course in Battlefield 1 it gives the medic a high damage weapon to use, standing out from all of the other weapons that the class has to offer. The previously high damaging weapon was the RSC, but of course that's semi-auto only. You now have a bolt action option in the medic class if you want to use it. Now, both of these amended weapons are currently in testing in the CTE, which means likely we will see them in a future patch for the game, but nothing is guaranteed to jump from the CTE to the main game at all, so it might never make it, but I really think that it will, considering there's not much major DLC being worked on for Battlefield 1 right now. I think we can be confident that these 2 amended weapons will make the jump at some point in the future. And it's also worth remembering that the 8 new weapon variants that DICE tested in the CTE back last month still haven't made their way into the main game yet. So there's a potential here that these two amended weapons, the 1903 Experimental and the General Liu rifle, they will be bundled with those 8 variants and released all at once. DICE hasn't communicated anything about when we will see these new and improved weapons, but once we get some sort of information, I'll keep you guys updated. The new game mode called Shock Operations, which I told you about in yesterday's video, that's linked down in the description if you missed it, that's been slated for a June release, so it's entirely possible these weapons will also come in that June patch, but DICE has stated they will be deploying April and May patches for the game as well, so there are a couple of windows here where these weapons could drop in. So there you have it. DICE has been hard at work behind the scenes to bring some more smaller additions to Battlefield 1 at the end of its life cycle. And they've added even more to the CTE recently that I've got to tell you about in another video, so you have to look out for that one when I release it for you tomorrow. But thank you very much for watching today. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Don't forget to leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, or you can dislike it if you didn't enjoy it. And subscribe with notifications turned on to make sure you don't miss any of my Battlefield videos. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.